Gilgamesh was a strong warrior, but he was a bad king. He stole families' boys and slept with their wives. Enkidu heard about this and went to the town to confront Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh and Enkidu fight, and Enkidu is thrown off, but they respect each other's strength and become friends. This respect can be seen when Enkidu says, "There is not another like you in the world." So Enkidu and Gilgamesh embraced, and their friendship was sealed. Enkidu then gets bored, and Gilgamesh suggests they go out to adventure. He suggests they fight Humbaba, a creature in the wood that protects the trees. Enkidu does not want to go because he does not believe that they can defeat Humbaba. This is the refusal to the call, shown when Gilgamesh teases Enkidu about being afraid. He tells him, "How is this? Already you are afraid. I will go first, although I am your lord, and you may safely call out, 'Forward, there is nothing to fear.' Then if I fall, I leave behind me a name that endures." He says this in order to comfort Enkidu and show him that he will be safe. Next, Gilgamesh and Enkidu get supernatural aid when Gilgamesh's mom prays to the gods. This can be seen in the text. Standing upon the roof of the palace, she burnt incense and lifted her arms to Shamash as the smoke ascended. "O Shamash, why did you give this restless heart to Gilgamesh, my son? Why did you give it? You have moved him, and now he sets out on a long journey to the land of Humbaba, to travel on an unknown road and fight a strange battle. Therefore, from that day that he goes till the day he returns, until he reaches the cedar forest, until he kills Humbaba and destroys the evil thing which you, Shamash, abhor. I do not forget him, but let him dawn. Aya, your dear bride, remind you always, and when day is gone, give him to the watchman of the night and keep him from harm." Then Ninsun, the mother of Gilgamesh, extinguished the incense. Gilgamesh and Enkidu then pass the first threshold when they kill Humbaba. In text, this is when it says, "At the third blow, Humbaba fell." Next, the step meeting with the goddess occurs when Ishtar sees Gilgamesh in his robes and asks him to marry her. This is seen in the text when it is said, "Glorious Ishtar lifted her eyes, seeing the beauty of Gilgamesh. She said, 'Come to me, Gilgamesh, and be my bridegroom.'" Women as tempters can be seen when Ishtar asks Gilgamesh to marry him, and he says, "If I take you in marriage, what gifts can I give in return? What ointments and clothing for your body? I would gladly give you bread and all sorts of food fit for a god. I would make you wine to drink fit for a queen. I would pour out barley to stuff your granary. But as for making you my wife, that I will not." After this, we see the body of the whale, when, after Gilgamesh denies Ishtar's advances, she sends the bull of heaven after them to try and kill them. Gilgamesh and Enkidu are able to defeat the bull of heaven, seen in text when it states, "Now, thrust in your sword between the nape and the horns." So Gilgamesh followed the bull. He seized the thick of its tail, he thrust his sword between the nape and the horns, and slew the bull. When they had killed the bull of heaven, they cut out its heart and gave it to Shamash, and the brothers rested. The trials begin when Enkidu dies and Gilgamesh goes on a quest to find eternal life. This can be seen in text when it is said, "In the first light of dawn, Gilgamesh cried out, 'I made you rest on a royal bed. You reclined on a couch at my left, and the princess of earth kissed your feet. I will cause all the people of Uruk to weep over you, and raise the dirge of the dead. The joyful people will stoop with sorrow, And when you have gone to the earth, I will let my hair grow long for your sake. I will wander through the wilderness in the skin of the lion. The next day also, in the first light, Gilgamesh lamented. 7 days and 7 nights he wept for Enkidu, until the worm fastened on him. Only then he gave him to the earth. For the Anunnaki, the judge, had seized him. Atonement with Father can be seen when Gilgamesh wakes up from his long slumber and realizes he failed the task. This can be seen in the text when it says, Then eunuchism touched him and he awoke. Gilgamesh said to eunuchism in the far away, hardly slept when you touched and aroused me. But eunuchism said, Count these loaves and learn how many days you slept. For your first is hard, and your second is like leather. Your third is still over there, glowing in the embers, when I touched you and awoke. Gilgamesh said, What shall I do, O eunuchism? Where shall I go? Already the thief in the night has stolen my limbs. Death inhabits my room. Wherever my foot rests, there I find death. This shows that he has accepted that he failed the task, even if he does not like that it happened. Apotheosis can be seen whenever he gets over the task he failed and moves on. This can be seen in the text when it is said, So Ushurnabi took Gilgamesh and led him to the washing place. He washed off his long hair as clean as snow in the water. He threw off his skins, which the sea carried away, and showed the beauty of his body. He renewed the fillet on his forehead, and to cover his nakedness gave him clothes which would show no sign of age. This shows that Gilgamesh is at least willing to accept that now he has to move on and journey back to his own city. The ultimate boon can be seen when Gilgamesh does not go back to get another one of a fruit that can make him young again, showing that now he realizes that he needs to be with his people. This can be seen in the line where he says, but the beast of the earth has joy of it now. Already the stream has carried it 20 leagues back to the channels where I found it. I found a sign, and now I have lost it. Let us leave the boat on the bank and go. Because of his failure, he goes back and tries to be the best king he can in the time he has left. There is no refusal to return, so we will move on to the magic flight, where they walk back with almost no trouble. This can be seen in the story when it is said, After 20 leagues they broke their fast. After 30 leagues they stopped for the night. In 3 days they had walked as much as a journey of a month and 15 days. When the journey was accomplished, they arrived at the strong-walled city. There is no rescue from without, so we will move on to crossing the return threshold. When he returns to Uruk, Gilgamesh crosses the return threshold. He has passed all the trials, and there is nothing left for him to do. Gilgamesh shows that he's become the master of two worlds, because after he comes back, he becomes a very good king. This can be seen as when he was on his journey, he didn't eat the fruit right away, instead trying to save some of it for the elders so that they could become young too. In the text, this is written as, By its virtue a man may win back all his former strength. I will take it to Uruk of the strong walls. There I will give it to the old men to eat. Its name shall be, The Old Men Are Young Again, and at last I shall eat it myself, and have back all my lost youth. This also shows the freedom to live, because he is no longer afraid to die and can live without fear of death. Even though he wants to be young again, after losing the fruit, he does not become distraught, and instead just realizes that he has to get back to his village.